Here's more wrestling news for April 29th, 2022. And your headlines for this afternoon include two-time former WWE Champion suffers nasty fall at recent overseas live event, MVP blasts WWE fans as idiots for comparing Omos to awful Hall of Famer, why did this week's episode of Monday Night Raw have a much different feel to it, Becky Lynch says she's ready to face WWE Hall of Famer and seven-time Women's Champion, Chelsea Green calls out hypocritical Twitter after her account is suspended, Sonya Deville says how she was afraid to go home after terrifying kidnapping attempt, former WWE Universal Champion is now engaged to ex-WWE employee, Brock Lesnar spotted for the first time since WWE Championship loss to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 38, the Hardys say they nearly signed with a different company before joining WWE in the 1990s, WWE Hall of Famer says Bret Hart made a smart call by not signing with AEW, Mick Foley teases huge announcement that he'll make very soon, and more. We are kicking off today with WWE, who recently started a short tour of Europe, but things didn't go as planned during last night's event in Newcastle, England. In one match, Bobby Lashley was facing Drew McIntyre, but when the Almighty bounced off the ropes, the top rope broke, leaving the former two-time WWE Champion to go crashing to the outside. In videos and photos taken at the event, Lashley's body folded up as he fell out of the ring, while McIntyre was able to brace himself and kept himself from falling out of the ring. According to one fan who was present at the event, Lashley seemed to be fine after a few moments and didn't show any sign of injury and continued the match. It's great that neither Lashley nor McIntyre got hurt, but things could have gone much worse for the two top-tier WWE superstars, and it goes to show that accidents can happen at any time in wrestling. It was earlier this month that Lashley returned to in-ring action to defeat Omos at WrestleMania 38, but the Almighty was betrayed the next night. It was on the post-Mania Raw that MVP attacked Lashley and aligned with Omos, and the manager has had some choice words for the fans. On Twitter, MVP addressed fans comparing Omos to another giant, the Great Khali, saying that anyone who compares the two are an idiot of the highest order. He added that Khali, who was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame last year, was awful in the ring, while his new client shows incredible potential. We are not quite sure how WWE feels about this tweet, as while Khali was limited in the ring given his size, Vince McMahon probably doesn't want to be known as someone who hires awful wrestlers. Already a former Raw Tag Team Champion, Omos has indeed shown great potential, and as far as MVP is concerned, he's already surpassed the WWE Hall of Famer in the ring. Over to Raw now, as this week's show had a slightly different feel than previous weeks, with several returns and a unique 8-man tag main event. It's not often you'd see the likes of Ezekiel headline Raw, but this week's fresh edition of the Red Brand isn't due to a creative shift backstage. When a member of Ringside News asked a source about Raw, they were told that Vince McMahon was pitched several ideas until he got something he liked. That source added that this is very common, adding that what the chairman likes is usually bad, but that this week, what he chose made for a nicely paced show. Unfortunately, this good pacing, multiple returns, and a celebration of Randy Orton's career couldn't help Raw in the ratings, as the show brought an average 1.613 million viewers. We'll have to see if McMahon can keep this trend up on next week's Go Home Raw before WrestleMania Backlash, but the chairman has made some smart calls this past Monday. In women's wrestling history, few names are more celebrated than Trish Stratus, who last competed back in 2019. In the nearly 3 years since her SummerSlam encounter with Charlotte Flair, Stratus has teased another match from time to time, and one woman is waiting for the Canadian legend. Speaking to Featured Cut of the Day, Becky Lynch called out Stratus and referenced her own victory over Lita this year. "If Trish Stratus wants to go, I'm ready to go, but I think she should know that I destroyed her bestie, who I loved, who was my hero, who was my idol. I wasn't a Trish Stratus fan, so imagine what I'll do to her." Lynch may no longer be Raw Women's Champion, but her fighting nature hasn't left her, and after this current feud with Asuka wraps up, big-time Bex may be on the receiving end of some Stratusfaction. For many wrestlers, social media is an essential tool in the modern industry, allowing for wrestlers to promote themselves, advertise shows, and interact with fans. Like countless wrestlers, Impact Wrestling's Chelsea Green uses Twitter, but isn't happy with her recent suspension. In a tweet, Green said how her account had been temporarily suspended after a photo of herself in a bikini was deemed inappropriate by the site. Green also accused Twitter of hypocrisy, saying that while accounts are allowed to send her hateful messages on a daily basis without getting punished, her one bikini photo is all it took to be suspended. Like many wrestlers, Green is no stranger to responses on social media which are far from pleasant, and while Twitter hasn't reacted to those, one racy pic is all it took for the social media giant. In 2020, shortly before that year's SummerSlam, Sonya Deville narrowly avoided a kidnapping attempt after a fan broke into her home. The man came armed with rope, zip ties, and various items one would use for such a despicable deed, and Deville took months away after SummerSlam to properly recover. Deville is now back on TV and has slowly gotten back in the ring, but as she told Pat McAfee on his show, this has been a long journey back for her. You don't know how you're gonna feel about something like that happening until it happens. The day of, I was like, oh, everything's fine, I'm gonna go sleep in my house tonight. And then by the time nightfall came, I was like, couldn't even drive to the neighborhood, so it's crazy. The man who attempted to kidnap Deville is Philip A. Thomas, and though he was at risk of facing life in prison, was deemed mentally incompetent to stand trial last May. What Deville went through in August 2020 is something nobody should have to go through, and it's great that she's been able to move forward after such a scary ordeal. We've got news from Bray Wyatt next, and while there's no word on when he'll wrestle again, the former WWE superstar is now engaged. Fellow WWE alum JoJo Offerman took to Instagram yesterday afternoon to reveal that Wyatt had popped the question, and she immediately said yes. Bray and Offerman began dating sometime in 2017, and they have 2 children together, a son who was born in May 2019 and a daughter born in May 2020. After being released from WWE in July last year, it's been an odd 9 months for the former Universal Champion, but we're offering our congrats to Bray and JoJo on this fantastic news. At WrestleMania 38, Brock Lesnar lost the WWE Championship to Roman Reigns, who unified the title with the Undisputed Championship. After being a regular on WWE TV since SummerSlam 2021, Lesnar immediately left WrestleMania after his title loss and hasn't been on WWE TV since. Now Lesnar's been spotted for the first time since WrestleMania, as the Bearded Butchers revealed on Thursday that Lesnar reached out to them and shared a photo of his latest butchering expedition. Last month, Lesnar became an honorary bearded butcher and sliced up the carcass of a pig and has clearly remained friends with the Butchering Brothers. As for appearing on WWE TV again, Lesnar had been advertised for both WrestleMania Backlash and for Money in the Bank, but has since been pulled from the advertising for both events. While Brock may not be at either premium live event, he is still being advertised for SummerSlam on July 30th, and we'll have to see what the Butchering Beast does at the biggest party of the summer. Now there's few tag teams that have had more success than the Hardy Boys, who have held gold in various promotions over the years. One company the duo never worked for is the original ECW that went under in 2001, but that could have happened if there'd been a twist of fate. During an interview with Fightful, Matt Hardy spoke about his and Jeff's careers and said that while they debuted in WWF back in 1995, they weren't signed until 1998, and that only came after they received an offer from Paul Heyman. Matt explained, "Before we started, we were about to go work with some of the ECW guys. Sandman had an international tour we were going to do, and then we were also going to have tryouts for ECW. We were close to doing that. There was starting to be a little bit of buzz about us, so we did have some other options. Fortunately, WWE ended up signing us." Ultimately, Matt and Jeff inked a deal with WWE, and while they would both later compete in WWE's version of ECW, with Matt even being a former ECW World Champion, who knows how their careers would have gone had they joined the original ECW instead of WWE. Now, it was reported recently that Bret Hart had signed a new deal with WWE, one that will keep him away from appearing at AEW events. While neither WWE nor Bret Hart have confirmed the signing, this is the consensus of the AEW locker room, and according to Booker T, signing a deal with Vince McMahon is the right call for the Hitman. On his Hall of Fame podcast, Booker said how AEW is still in its infancy, and that Bret will have had to weigh up how much joining AEW could affect his legacy, especially when WWE owns so much of his archive footage. Booker added that like Lita, who also chose to not join AEW, Bret's star power means he can be a lot more choosy with who he works with, and in this instance, he reportedly chose to go with the promotion he knows rather than the one he's only made one appearance for. Booker admitted that losing out on Bret is a huge blow for AEW, but one they can recover from, and until something changes, don't expect the excellence of execution in the All Elite promotion. And we're ending today with Mick Foley, who has something big planned for the near future. On Twitter, the hardcore legend promised that he has big news that he'll be announcing within the next 24 hours, but didn't give any indicator as to what that news will be. Whatever Foley has planned, he seems very excited to announce it, and fans won't have to wait long to hear from the three-time former world champion. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.